There's a jar sitting in millions of kitchens right now, something you probably used this morning, and it has the power to transform a struggling tomato plant into a fruit-producing machine. Not a chemical. Not an expensive product from the garden centre. Something so ordinary, so overlooked that the moment you find out what it is, you'll walk straight to your kitchen and start mixing. And there's a second ingredient, one that most gardeners have never thought to put anywhere near their plants, that when combined with the first, creates a soil-feeding, growth-triggering system working underground where you can't even see it happening. 2 formulas, a full application schedule, the science behind why it works. Do not touch that skip button. Every gardener wants the same thing, mate. More tomatoes, bigger cucumbers, peppers that actually produce. But every season people spend money on fertilizers, follow the instructions, and still end up with average results. Here's why. Your plant has 2 separate systems running at the same time, the leaves doing one job, the roots doing another. Feed only one and you're leaving half your garden's potential on the table. Today's 2 formulas fix that. One works from the top down, protecting the leaves and fueling growth. The other works from the bottom up, feeding the soil so the soil feeds the plant. Together they cost almost nothing to make, and the results will surprise you. Formula 1. The Milk Shield. The main ingredient is milk. 200 milliliters of milk mixed into 1.5 liters of clean water. 2 ingredients. And yet this simple mixture is one of the most well-documented natural foliar sprays in gardening history. Before you think this sounds too simple to be real, here's what's actually happening when you spray this on your plants. Milk contains proteins. When those proteins hit the surface of a plant's leaves and are exposed to sunlight, they undergo a reaction that produces a compound with antifungal properties. This is not a theory. It has been studied and confirmed in multiple agricultural research settings. Studies comparing milk sprays to conventional fungicides for controlling powdery mildew found that milk was effective, in some cases performing comparably to chemical treatments without any residue or toxicity concerns. But that's just the protection side. Milk also contains calcium, phosphorus, and a range of amino acids. When delivered directly to the leaf surface, some of these nutrients are absorbed transdermally. The plant takes them in through the leaf itself, not through the roots. This is foliar feeding, and it's one of the fastest ways to get nutrients into a plant during periods of high demand, like when it's flowering or setting fruit. For tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers specifically, this matters enormously. These are all heavy feeders. They consume calcium at a rapid rate during fruit development. When calcium is deficient, you get blossom end rot on tomatoes, that dark, sunken patch at the bottom of the fruit that ruins an otherwise healthy crop. You get misshapen cucumbers. You get peppers that drop their blossoms before fruit ever sets. A regular application of the Milk Shield addresses this calcium demand directly, through the leaf, which means the plant doesn't have to wait for root absorption. The ratio matters. 200 milliliters of milk to 1.5 liters of water. Diluted enough that it doesn't leave a heavy residue on the leaves, but concentrated enough to deliver meaningful nutrition. Too concentrated, and you create conditions on the leaf surface that encourage rather than discourage certain fungal problems. The dilution in this formula is calibrated to avoid that. Preparation is straightforward. Mix the milk and water thoroughly, pour it into a clean garden sprayer, and shake well before use. That last part is critical. Milk and water begin to separate as they sit, so shake the sprayer again right before you start spraying to make sure the mixture is fully combined. Application timing is everything. Spray during cooler hours, early morning or late afternoon, never in the middle of the day when the sun is at its strongest. When you spray during peak sun hours, the liquid on the leaf surface evaporates too quickly, meaning the plant doesn't have time to absorb what you've given it. The rapid temperature contrast between the cool spray and the hot air can also stress the leaf surface. Early morning gives the plant the entire day to slowly absorb the nutrients as temperatures rise. Late afternoon means the spray can sit on the leaves through the cooler evening hours. Spray evenly across all foliage, top and bottom of every leaf. The underside is where a significant portion of stomata are located, the tiny pores through which the plant breathes and absorbs. Spraying only the tops means missing half your target. Cover every leaf, every stem surface, every developing fruit. Frequency for the Milk Shield is every 10 to 15 days during the growing season. roughly every 2 weeks. You're not trying to drench the plant every few days. You're building a consistent, protective, nutritive layer over time. Think of it as a maintenance schedule rather than an emergency treatment. Now, Formula 2, and this one is where things get really interesting. The growth booster is a soil drench. Instead of spraying it on the plant, you pour it directly into the soil at the base. The ingredients in this formula are doing something completely different from the milk shield. They're not feeding the plant directly, they're feeding the soil, so the soil can feed the plant. 4 liters of chlorine-free water, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, 2 tablespoons of dry yeast. A pause on the water because this detail matters more than people realize. Chlorine-free water. Tap water contains chlorine that is specifically designed to kill microorganisms. That's why municipalities add it, to keep drinking water safe. But in your garden soil, microorganisms are not the enemy. They are the engine. The living biological network in healthy soil is what breaks down organic matter, makes nutrients available to plant roots, and creates the conditions in which plants thrive. Chlorine in your soil drench disrupts that microbial community, especially when added repeatedly, week after week. To make tap water chlorine-free, fill your container and let it sit uncovered for 24 hours. Chlorine is a volatile compound. It naturally off-gases and dissipates when left exposed to air. After 24 hours, your tap water is effectively chlorine-free and safe to use in this formula. Now the yeast. This is the ingredient that separates the growth booster from every other soil drench recipe you've probably heard of. And this is where the science gets fascinating. Dry yeast, the same yeast you use to make bread, is a living organism, a fungus technically. When you introduce active yeast into your soil, it begins a process that has cascading benefits for your entire growing environment. First, yeast produces carbon dioxide as it metabolizes. In the soil, this CO2 contributes to a slightly elevated carbon environment around the root zone, which research has shown can stimulate root growth and nutrient uptake. Roots in CO2-enriched soil environments tend to extend further and develop more lateral branches, which means more surface area for nutrient absorption, which means more of everything the plant can take in. Second, yeast produces a range of B vitamins during its metabolic process, particularly B1, B2, and B6. These vitamins act as biostimulants. They don't directly feed the plant the way nitrogen or potassium would, but they stimulate the plant's own internal processes, enhancing enzyme activity, supporting cell division, and accelerating the rate at which the plant can process and use the nutrients already available in the soil. Third, yeast activity increases biological diversity in the soil. Yeast competes with harmful fungi and pathogenic organisms, not by killing them chemically, but by outcompeting them for resources. A soil environment with active, thriving yeast populations is a soil environment where disease-causing organisms have less room to establish themselves. Now, the baking soda. 2 tablespoons in 4 liters of water. Baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, is alkaline. When introduced to soil in small diluted quantities, it serves as a gentle pH buffer. Tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers all prefer a soil pH in the slightly acidic to neutral range, roughly 6.0 to 7.0. Over time, especially with repeated watering and the natural breakdown of organic matter, soil can drift toward acidity. The baking soda in this formula works as a mild corrective, nudging the pH toward neutral and maintaining the conditions in which nutrient availability is at its highest. There's also evidence that baking soda in diluted soil application can help suppress certain soil-borne fungal pathogens, working in a similar way to how it protects the leaf surface in the foliar spray. Fungi generally prefer acidic conditions. A slightly more alkaline environment is less hospitable to them. Preparation for the growth booster requires one critical step that the milk shield doesn't: resting time. Combine all 3 ingredients in a sealable container, seal it tightly, shake well, then let it rest for 2 hours before use. This resting period allows the yeast to become active. When you first add dry yeast to water, it takes time for the organisms to rehydrate and begin metabolizing. The 2-hour window gives the yeast time to activate, so when you pour this drench into your soil, you're delivering live, active organisms, not dormant powder. After 2 hours, you'll likely notice a slight foam or bubbling in your container. This is the CO2 being produced by the yeast as it becomes active. That's exactly what you want to see. Confirmation that your yeast is alive and your mixture is ready. Application is simple. Pour directly into the soil at the base of the plant. Target the root zone. You're not watering the whole bed. You're delivering a concentrated drench to the area directly around the plant's root system, which is where you want the yeast activity to begin. For a mature tomato, cucumber, or pepper plant, deliver the drench in a ring around the base of the stem, roughly 6 to 8 inches out. This covers the primary root zone without concentrating everything at the stem itself, which can create excess moisture at the crown of the plant. Like the milk shield, apply during early morning or evening, never in the heat of midday. Yeast organisms are sensitive to extreme heat. A midday application on a hot day can kill the yeast before it has a chance to establish in the soil. Early morning or evening temperatures give the organisms the best chance of survival and activation. Frequency for the growth booster is once per week. Because you're working with living organisms that have a biological life cycle in the soil, consistent weekly applications maintain a steady, active population in the root zone throughout the growing season. Don't skip weeks. The benefits are cumulative. Each application builds on the biological activity established by the previous one. Now the combined schedule, because this is where the system becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Week 1. Apply the growth booster soil drench to the base of your plants, early morning or evening. Week 2. Apply the Milk Shield foliar spray across all foliage, early morning or late afternoon. Week 3. Growth booster again. Week 4. Milk Shield again. Continue this alternating rhythm throughout the growing season. The Milk Shield runs every 2 weeks. The growth booster runs every week, meaning it gets applied on both the weeks you spray the Milk Shield and the weeks in between. What this schedule creates is a plant supported on 2 fronts simultaneously, without either formula ever interfering with the other. The Milk Shield is working above the soil, protecting leaves, delivering calcium and amino acids directly to the foliage, building resistance to fungal pressure. The growth booster is working below the soil, activating microbial life, stimulating root expansion, buffering soil pH, and priming the root zone to absorb everything the plant needs. Together, they address the full biological picture of a growing plant. Here's what you can realistically expect to see, and when. In the first 2 weeks of consistent application, you're unlikely to see dramatic visual changes. What's happening during this period is foundational. The yeast is establishing in the soil. The microbial community is beginning to shift. The plant's root system is starting to respond to the increased biological activity in the root zone. Above ground, the foliar spray is beginning its protective work. This is the building phase. Between weeks 2 and 4, a difference in leaf color and texture begins to show. Healthy calcium and amino acid delivery through the foliar spray produces leaves that are noticeably deeper green, with a slightly firmer texture. This is the plant building stronger cell walls, directly connected to disease resistance and structural integrity. By weeks 4 through 6, the difference in growth rate often becomes obvious. Plants treated with this dual formula system tend to produce more lateral branching, more flowering nodes, and faster fruit set than untreated plants in the same growing conditions. The root system, stimulated by weeks of yeast-activated soil, is now processing nutrients more efficiently, which shows up visibly in the growth rate above ground. The fruit itself, what most gardeners are ultimately waiting for, tends to be larger, more uniform, and more numerous. Tomatoes treated with consistent calcium supplementation via foliar spray almost universally show a reduction in blossom end rot. Cucumber plants with active, healthy root zones typically produce more fruit per plant over a longer harvest window. Peppers, often slow to set fruit in less than ideal conditions, tend to flower more prolifically and hold those flowers through to fruit development. This is the compounding nature of a system like this. Every week you apply it, the plant is in a slightly better position than the week before. Every application of the growth booster builds on the biological foundation of the last. Every Milk Shield application reinforces the protective and nutritive layer on the foliage. You're not looking for a single dramatic event, you're building a trajectory of growth that by mid-season produces results that look almost too good to be accidental. A few important notes before closing. On the milk, any milk works. Whole milk, skim milk, even powdered milk reconstituted in water. The active components, proteins, calcium, amino acids, are present across all types. Leftover milk that's close to its date and wouldn't be used otherwise is an excellent candidate for this. On the yeast, use standard active dry yeast, the same kind sold in supermarkets for baking. No specialty yeast or anything designed specifically for garden use. The organisms in standard dry yeast are exactly what this formula requires. On the baking soda, use plain sodium bicarbonate, not baking powder, which contains additional ingredients including acid compounds that will change the chemistry of your drench. Plain baking soda only. On the water, collected rainwater is ideal for both formulas. Rainwater is naturally chlorine-free, slightly acidic, and often contains trace minerals picked up from the atmosphere. It's excellent for garden use. When using well water rather than municipal tap water, check whether your well water has been treated. Untreated well water is typically safe to use without the 24-hour off-gassing step. One final point. These formulas are designed for the growing season, which for most gardeners means from transplanting through the end of fruiting. No need to continue through winter dormancy or before the plant is established. Start your application schedule within the first week after transplanting your seedlings into the garden and continue through to the last harvest of the season. For gardeners who've tried everything, who are tired of spending money on products that promise more than they deliver, give this system 8 weeks. 8 weeks of consistent application, following the schedule exactly as laid out here. Nothing else about how you garden needs to change. Same soil, same watering, same sunlight. Add these 2 formulas, apply them consistently, and then watch what happens. Your tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers don't need more chemicals. They need a system, a complete, biologically intelligent approach that addresses what's happening both above and below the soil surface. That's what these 2 formulas used together on this schedule provide. Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Every week, content exactly like this. Practical, grounded in real science, and built for gardeners who are serious about growing more food with less waste and less expense. There are people watching this video right now who are going to try this and come back next season with results they didn't think were possible. Make sure you're part of that group. Subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you in the next one.